미션 거치를 닫겠습니다.
This is the day I touched down in Atlanta, Georgia International Airport, USA, boarding with Korean Air flight. I departed early at 7:45 in the morning from Toronto International Airport, Canada, and arrived at 10:04 in the morning. I will be heading to my destination in Cebu, Philippines. I have 2 hours and 26 minutes of my first layover here in Atlanta, Georgia International Airport, and will have the second layover in Incheon International Airport of South Korea for 3 hours and 45 minutes before my arrival in Cebu International Airport, Philippines. Touching down in Atlanta felt like stepping into another world. The airport was hive of activity, and I took a moment to stretch my legs and explore. The vibrant atmosphere was filled with aromas of southern cuisine wafting through the air, also filled with many airplanes and people preparing for landing and takeoff. Grab a quick bite of fried chicken and biscuits before heading to my next gate. The layover was short but exhilarating, with the promise of more adventures ahead. Boarding the Korean Air flight to Incheon was a moment I had been waiting for. Settling into my seat, I marveled at the spacious cabin and friendly flight attendants. As we ascended into the sky, the city of Atlanta shrank below, and I was filled with excitement. The in-flight service was exceptional, with delicious Korean meals and an impressive selection of entertainment options. I watched movies, listened to music, and even tried my hand at a few language lessons in Korean. With a flight time of 14 hours and 50 minutes ahead, I was ready to embrace every moment of this transcontinental adventure. Once the seatbelt sign was off, I opened the screen of Korean Air GPS monitor. It was mesmerizing to track the plane's progress across the vast Atlantic Ocean, watching the little airplane icon glide over the endless blue. Every time I glanced out the window, the ocean stretched out beneath me, its surface sparkling in the sunlight, reminding me of the incredible distance I am covering. To pass the time, I settled in for a movie. I immersed myself in the story as the flight attendants served meals and drinks. Each meal was an experience, a taste of Korean culture wrapped up in familiar comfort. I savored every bite, enjoying the array of flavors. After a few hours of sitting, I decided to stretch my legs. Walking through the aisles felt refreshing. A brief reprieve from the confines of my seat, I chatted with a few fellow passengers, sharing stories and laughter that made the long journey feel a little shorter. With the Atlantic Ocean continuing to roll beneath me, I returned to my seat, watching the world outside my window change from ocean to clouds. As the hours passed, I felt a mix of anticipation and calm wash over me. The flight was long, but it was also a unique opportunity to reflect, dream, and look forward to the adventures that awaited me in South Korea. The hum of the engines reverberated gently through the cabin, a constant companion to the miles of sky that stretched out below. I was on board Korean Air flight, cruising high above the Atlantic Ocean, somewhere between the Americas and Asia. With only 90 minutes left before our descent into Incheon International Airport, South Korea. The flight, nearly 15 hours long, had been smooth and remarkable in its rhythm, yet extraordinary in its essence. I had crossed an ocean, half the world in fact, on my way from Atlanta, Georgia to Incheon. And as the plane sliced through the sky, I couldn't help but marvel at the sheer wonder of it all. Flying, for all its modern convenience, still holds a touch of magic for me. The ability to move, to journey from one continent to another with such speed and relative ease feels like something out of a dream. It was a rare, peaceful moment at the end of a long, uninterrupted flight, and as the minutes ticked away, I found myself deep in thought. It's not just the destination that matters. I realize it's the journey itself, the thousands of miles we travel over oceans and mountains, through shifting time zones, often with no real sense of the passage of time, can feel like a world in and of itself. It's a reminder of how small yet vast the world truly is, and how connected we all are in this global tapestry of human life. For these hours, I was in the air between two countries, cultures, and continents, linked by the technology and the human instinct to explore, to connect, to discover. I thought of the people who built this incredible aircraft, who maintained it, and the flight attendants who had been tirelessly caring for passengers, making sure we are comfortable for this long haul. It's easy to take the luxury of air travel for granted, especially when you're so far from home. But at this moment, I was filled with sense of gratitude for the opportunity to experience this great journey, to be part of this interconnected world. The view from my window was so real, a vast expanse of ocean far below, broken only by the occasional distant cloud. At 9,144 meters above sea level, everything feels so quiet, so far removed from the hustle of everyday life. It is a rare space for reflection. I thought about the people I would soon meet in Cebu, the friends and colleagues who had come to know me through letters and emails, but who had never seen my face in person. This journey, this flight, would bridge that gap, just as air travel bridges all distances. In a way, flying has always felt like a metaphor for life itself. We all embark on our own personal flight, moving through the world, often uncertain of what lies ahead. There are moments of turbulence, of course, moments of uncertainty, discomfort, even fear, but also moments of calm, of beauty, of serenity. What keeps us going is the knowledge that every journey, no matter how long, will eventually bring us to our destination. And sometimes, if we take the time to look out the window, we find that the journey itself is just as meaningful as the arrival. As the wheel touches down on the tarmac at Incheon International Airport, a wave of excitement washed over me. The plane had finally crossed continents, and now the bustling hub of South Korea awaited. After a long journey, I felt a mix of relief and eagerness as I disembarked from the aircraft. I navigate through the terminal. I move quickly down the hallway, glancing at the vibrant sign that directed passengers in every direction. The throbbing energy of the airport was infectious. I could hear the chatter of travelers, the distant clatter of luggage, and the soft announcement echoing overhead. My first stop was customs. I joined the line, watching as passengers ahead of me presented their documents with practiced ease. When it was finally my turn, I stepped up to the counter, my heart racing with the thrill of being in a new country. The customs officer greeted me with a polite note, and after a few quick questions and the stamp of my passport, I am free to continue. With only 3 hours and 45 minutes until next flight to Cebu, I quickened my pace, eager to find my boarding gate. The airport was sprawling, but the signage was clear. I followed the arrows, waving through groups of travelers and taking in the modern architecture and shops that lined the terminal. As I approached my gate, I felt a sense of accomplishment wash over me. I had traversed the Atlantic and now stood on the threshold of another adventure. With a bit of time to spare, I decided to grab a quick snack. Stopping at a kiosk, I picked up a delicious Korean pastry, its sweet and aroma beckoning on me. Sitting in a nearby lunch area, I took a moment to breathe and soak it all in. The blend of cultures, the new sights and sounds. I could almost hear the gentle call of Cebu, the beaches, and the warm sun. After a brief break, I checked the flight information again and stood up, ready to board. As I walked towards the gate, my heart raced with anticipation for the next leg of my journey. In just a few hours, I could be in the Philippines, ready to embrace yet another new adventure. The world was full of possibilities, and I am ready to dive in. After a brief wait at the gate, I finally boarded my final leg to Cebu, a Korean air flight that would carry me over the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean. Settling into my seat, I felt a familiar thrill. This was it, the last stretch before arriving to my destination. As the plane ascended into the night sky, the cabin lights dimmed, and the gentle hum of the engines surround me. I glanced out the window, watching the dark ocean below, illuminated occasionally by the glimmer of distant lights on passing ships. The flight attendant served dinner, and I savored every bite, grateful for the comforting meals that accompanied my travels. With 4 hours and 25 minutes ahead of me, I leaned back in my seat, allowing myself to relax. I watched a movie, listened to music, and even jotted down a few notes about what I wanted to do in Cebu. As the plane glided over the Pacific, anticipation built within me for the adventure that awaited. Finally, the captain announced the approach to Cebu. The plane began its descent, and soon the twinkling lights of the city appeared beneath me. Growing brighter as I got closer, I felt a surge of excitement. My journey was nearly complete. As the plane landed and taxied to the gate, I could hardly contain my enthusiasm. Once the seatbelt sign was torn off, I joined the other passengers in exiting the aircraft, moving swiftly through the terminal. Upon arrival, I followed the sign to immigration. The line moved quickly, and soon I am at the front, presenting my documents with a smile. The immigration officer welcomed me with a nod, and I could almost feel the warmth of the Philippine hospitality even before stepping out into the vibrant city. Next was customs, where I collected my luggage at the baggage carousel. The carousel whirled to life, and I watched as bags tumbled down, each one a potential adventure waiting to unfold. When I spotted my luggage, a rush of relief and excitement coursed through me. With my bags in hand, I stepped out into the arrival hall, where the energy of Cebu enveloped me. The sounds of laughter, chatter, and music filled the air, a testament to the lively spirit of the city. I took a moment to breathe it all in, the journey behind me and the adventure ahead stretching out before me. And thank you for watching.